Assalamu alaikum, and we continue with chapter 2 of Instruction of the Student. The purpose of study is the title of the chapter. Imam Zarnuji rahimahullah, he says, this is because he who finds pleasure in knowledge and in acting according to it, rarely does he desire man's worldly possessions. The context of that statement is thus: if the people, all of them, were my slaves, I would emancipate them and free myself from being their patron. And this statement is attributed to Muhammad bin al-Hasan rahimahullah. So here Imam Zarnuji rahimahullah, he's teaching us that the further we progress into understanding knowledge correctly, then we become liberated from attachment to the dunya. That doesn't mean that we should not possess in the dunya, but we should possess control over our very selves, so that we become independent of want. So then the true path of self-purification in closeness to Allah resides within the ability of the individual to liberate himself or herself from desire and want. Now this doesn't mean that we turn into stones and so on and so forth, but that our desire is put in check by intellect in the Sharia. And this is the meaning of sabr, that we follow intellect in Sharia. This is the meaning of sabr. Imam Qawam al-Din Hamad bin Ibrahim bin Ismail al-Saffar al-Ansari, he recited a poem attributed to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah: whoever strives for knowledge for the life to come obtains great gain in righteousness, but he is in utter loss who seeks knowledge to obtain an advantage over people. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah in this poem teaches us the real end to self-development. With self-development and refinement comes the ability to exert influence over others, because of the sheer station that one ascends to as one develops oneself. One becomes a center which attracts others unto oneself. The ulama, they teach us then that our position is one of servitude to Allah, and that our relationship with others is that of brotherhood, and that when we take leadership within our reigns, it should be a task of service. It should be a means to transform the world for the good by showing the most refined of characters. This is true with the possible exception of one who seeks position in order to command what is good and forbid what is evil, and in order to promote the truth and strengthen the deen, but never in order to satisfy his own ego and his desires, because to do so would be to pave the way to one's own destruction. It would be to relinquish, to give up freedom from want and from desire. It would be to give up independence. It would be to set aside the dependence that we have upon Allah, which bestows upon us independence and dignity as human beings, to trade that in, to pawn that for a base and lowly station. So the ulama, they teach us then that empowerment of self and the real wealth and the real spiritual health is to be a people of humility, to be a person of character, to be a person that is humble. This is true with the possible exception of one who seeks position in order to command what is good and forbid what is evil, and in order to promote the truth and strengthen the deen, but never in order to satisfy his ego and his desires. The repression of selfish aims becomes more possible the more the learned undertakes to enjoin what is good and forbid evil. And this, of course, must be done with refined character. This is why knowledge is important. To understand exactly what is the task before us and how to bring that task about properly. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.